And we back. Today's video is all about getting buckets. That's it. I was thinking, what era of basketball had the best bucket getters? So I decided to use some mathematics and some formulas to figure out what are the best scores across every single era. So that's accounting for averages, it's accounting for total points, it's accounting for scoring titles. And what I did for every decade across basketball, picked the 2 best bucket getters, put them in one draft class, and they have 5 years to see which era accumulates the most amount of points. This video is brought to you by SeatGeek. Hit the link in the description. Use code Kenny10 for 10% off your purchase of tickets. SeatGeek takes tickets from all over the internet and put them in one central location, whether it be a sporting event, comedy, Broadway, concerts. If you need tickets, SeatGeek probably has it. Like, I'm not exaggerating when I say every event that I bought a ticket for the last, 10 years has been through SeatGeek. Just this week, we got Disney on Ice. Me and my daughter are going to see that, and I bought my tickets with SeatGeek, and I use my own code. All you need to do is load up the app and find the event you want to go to. Let's say we want to see Suns versus Bulls later next month. You're going to see the venue with a bunch of dots to agree to dot the better deal. I like to sort by deal score, and the best deal in the arena is this seat, $231 for $140. You can sort by price and get the lowest price. You can just get in for $50, or you can sort by best seat and get section 101, row 8. And it's just that simple. With a few more clicks, you can have your tickets in hand. Again, shout out to SeatGeek for sponsoring this video. Code Kenny10 with SeatGeek gives you 10% off, whether it be your first purchase or your millionth purchase with SeatGeek. That 10% is gonna be there. And listen, I don't want y'all to be mad at me if you think your #1 bucket getter ain't make today's video. It ain't about that. I didn't create it. I did the math. It's math. It's based in a formula, so you can't be mad. Let me introduce you to every single player that will be represented today. Starting off with the 50s, one of the biggest and best bucket getters in history is Bob McAdoo. In the 50s, he averaged 25.1 points per game, and he had 2 scoring titles, one of the NBA's first superstars. And his teammate is gonna be George Mikan. Again, these 2 dudes are representing the 50s, and again, it's 2 dudes for every single 10-year span of basketball. George Mikan, cool thing about him, hooped with the glasses on. At least that's what 2K is telling me. Got the bifocals on. You gotta love that. So that's the 50s. The 60s will have Wilt the Stilt Chamberlain. He had 7 scoring titles and averaged 34. You know all the stories in the world to score 100 points. The only player in history to be able to do that. He's representing the 60s with the big old Oscar Robertson. Some of these guys played in multiple decades for sure, but we took the decades where they were the most prominent. Oscar Robertson averaged 29.3 points per game in the 60s, and he also had 1 scoring title. Then we get to the 70s. Oh my God, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, ceiling and floors. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? Pretty interesting. Kareem averaged 28.2 points per game in the 70s. He had 2 scoring titles. And then sneakily, we get Bob McAdoo for the 70s. He averaged 27 points per game, and he had 3 scoring titles. So Bob McAdoo is here. His ceiling is Bill Walton, and his floor is himself. And then we move to the 80s, and this is where things get pretty interesting because the best scorer in the 80s was Michael Jordan. But Michael Jordan is a 90s player, so he's not representing the 80s. Instead, it will be Dominique Wilkins, who did have 1 scoring title and he averaged 26 points per game. And then representing the 80s with him is Adrian Dantley, who averaged 25.6 points per game and had 2 scoring titles during this stretch. Then the 90s, of course, will have Michael Jordan, who had 7 scoring titles and averaged 30. Let me say that again. He had 7 scoring titles and he averaged 30. My GOAT. And his teammate is going to be Karl Malone. He also had 0 scoring title, sorry, because MJ did all of that. But he averaged 26.7 points per game in that era. Then we get to the 2000s where we get Kobe Bryant, may he rest in peace. He averaged 28.5 points per game during this era, and he had 2 scoring titles. He's going to be teaming up with Bron, who averaged 27.8 points per game and had 1 scoring title during this era. Then we get the 2010s where Kevin Durant had 4 scoring titles at 27.1 points per game, and he's teaming up with James Harden, who averaged 26.7 points per game and had 3 scoring titles. And then lastly, we have the 2020s, which is Joel Embiid, who at this point has 2 scoring titles at 31.5, and then we have Luka Doncic somewhere in here. Where's Luka? Luka Doncic in here as well with 30 points per game and 1 scoring title. So there were a lot of snubs, obviously, but we only got 2 person per era. So like Steph Curry, Allen Iverson, Shaquille O'Neal. These were tough. Larry Bird. These were tough players that couldn't make today's video, but maybe we do something like this across a different category and those dudes can make it then. Now remember, this is just total points scored, okay? Just total points scored. I want to go to the draft and see who gets drafted where. This is a fantasy draft also, so I don't know who these guys' teammates are going to be. The Pelicans won the draft, and they took Michael Jordan, 6'6", out of North Carolina. Then the second overall pick, the Clippers are going to take Luka Doncic. Wow. Over Bron. Third overall pick is Bron, and he's going to be going to the Utah Jazz. Then we get Kobe Bryant going to the Orlando Magic. And this is pretty interesting, though, because in theory, these guys should be going to bad teams, right? So they should have an opportunity to just score a ton of points because they don't have great teammates. At least, again, that's the theory. Next, we get Kareem Abdul-Jabbar going to OKC. Will Chamberlain is going to go to the Milwaukee Bucks. We got James Harden with the Portland Trailblazers. Then Kevin Durant in Memphis. Then Joel Embiid goes to Boston. Oh, Boston fans, I know y'all got to get ready for that. Then we get Karl Malone to the Indiana Pacers. Trade? No, you don't trade this pick away. Who traded it? Oh, Kevin Durant goes to Detroit. They traded back for Bob McAdoo. Interesting. George Mikan goes 12th. Bob Pettit goes 13th. Oscar Robertson goes 14th. Dominique Wilkins goes 15th. Adrian Dantley goes 16th, and that is everybody. Wow, okay. And remember, these guys are on the same team, and you know what I'm saying, with the challenge. So, like, Michael Jordan gotta hope that the Pacers and Karl Malone end up being good. I mean, he ended up being good with bad teammates. I don't know how to explain it, but you get what I'm saying. All right. Now, let's take a look and see what these teammates are, these players' teammates are. So, the 76ers have Adrian Dantley with Julius Erving, OG Anunoby. They got some stuff to do, actually. You know what? Let's go to the start of next season because you never know what free agency is going to change things. So we'll start at the beginning of next season. All right, now is a good time to look at things. So Adrian Dantley, Julius Randle, and Jonas Valanciunas, they got OG Anunoby coming off the bench. Then we got Will Chamberlain with Zion and Jalen Brunson. See, Will Chamberlain is a stud, obviously. So I guess it won't matter too much. But like this team has offensive talent with Zion and Cam and Julius Randle. So that might prevent Will Chamberlain from averaging 25 to 30. I don't know. Then we get the Chicago Bulls, who are not a part of the video so far. Steph Curry doesn't get a teammate. Sorry, Steph. Joel Embiid is with Evan Mobley, Chris Middleton, Derek White, and Scoot. That's pretty good because all of those four guys' shot tendency is relatively low. So you're going to get Joel Embiid putting up some crazy numbers in theory. The Clippers, didn't y'all have some? Oh, Luka Doncic. I was going to say, didn't you have somebody as Luka? He's teaming up with Y and Cam Thomas. I did get rid of the current day Luka and the current day Bron and the current day Harden and the current day Kevin Durant. So there's no dupes. Then we get to the Grizzlies, Bob McAdoo and Paolo Banchero. I'm a little bit not afraid for Bob McAdoo. That is definitely the wrong word, but like his team is the one I'm the least confident in. Y'all let me know in the comment section which team y'all think will be the best. Because with McAdoo, it's, oh no, he's with Kareem though. Kareem could carry them, bro. He legitimately could carry them. Atlanta Hawks have George Mikan. He's got one of the best passers in the league. And Tyrese Halliburton. That might be pretty good for him. It might be pretty good. Then we get Giannis. Unfortunately, Giannis didn't make the video, but he still exists in real life, as you can see. Nobody for the Hornets. LeBron has LaMelo and Sabonis. Interesting, Bron. We'll see what that's about. We get nobody here, nobody there. Oscar Robertson is with the Lakers. He's got Amin or Sar Thompson, one of the brothers. Oscar Robertson can put up some crazy numbers. Now, I feel like 2K probably has him more as a facilitator out here, so only time will tell. But this is a good-looking team for him to score a bunch of buckets. The Thompson brother, Jared Vanderbilt, these are guys that's not going to go out there and try to score too much. Kobe has Jaren, DeMar DeRozan, and Kobe on the same team is kind of crazy. Tyus Jones, I'm assuming. Is that Tyus or is that Trey? It's Tyus Jones and then Walker Kessler. The Dallas Mavericks, nobody. We get Jokic. He's not a part of this video. Wemby's not a part of this video. I'm just looking for Karl Malone is coming off the bench. Michael Jordan, you got to call up the Indiana Pacers, bro. You got to call up the Indiana Pacers. They got a 97 overall player coming off the bench. One thing I will do in a second is change everybody's age, by the way. So he's not actually 35. He's going to be mid-20s. So his overall don't start to drop in these next 5 years. But that is insane to me that you have a 97 overall player and he's coming off the bench because J-Dub on the team. You can run J-Dub at the 3 if you care about J-Dub that much. Michael Jordan has Darius Garland, Jalen Wells, Jonathan Kuminga. No bias here. Michael Jordan has to carry, and he might be able to carry. That's the Pelicans. Then we got Kevin Durant with Pascal, Ihart, Desmond Bane, and Ja Morant. Wow. That team's going to be good. Kevin's going to score, but they got some other buckets on that team for sure. The Raptors, nobody. Nothing here for the Rockets. Nothing there. Dominique Wilkins has Karl Anthony Towns and De'Aaron Fox. Another good-looking team. It might prevent him from doing this part. Kay Cunningham has Kareem Abdul-Jabbar on his team. Insane. And James Harden is here with Dame. Oh, Dame's back in Portland. That's love, man. That's love. Good reunion. And then that's it. Oh, Bob Pettit in Washington. Sorry, Washington. Bob Pettit in Washington with Grady, Zach, and Monte Morris. All right, let me do the last thing before we start simulating. And that is, of course, like I said, change some of these ages. I mean, most of these dudes are a good age. It's just Karl Malone being super old. Oscar Robinson's in his 30s. We're going to lower that just a little bit. Everybody else is in their 20s. James Harden will lower to 26, I guess. All right. I'm excited for this one, y'all. I'm excited for this one. I think we go straight to the end of the season. No spoilers by stopping at the trade deadline. All these legends, and Jokic still did his thing. I mean, Jokic is a legend too, but I'm just surprised. I'm just surprised to see Jokic do that. Rookie of the Year goes to Bron. He averages about 25 points per game. He's got a teammate, Asar Thompson there. Victor Wembanyama wins DPOY over like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and stuff. That's pretty interesting stuff. Let's see. Any other awards? All-NBA. LeBron is the only guy from the draft class that made an All-NBA team. At least first team. Second team is all of the guys. All of the guys. Okay. And third team has some of the guys too. All right, cool. That's understandable. Let's take a look at points per game for the first season. Anthony Edwards led the way at 33. The first guy is Bob McAdoo. Putting on for, again, what year are you, Bob? Putting on for the 70s, Bob. Yeah. And then Adrian Dantley. See, he was one of the guys who was like, I don't know about Adrian Dantley. I mean, I know about Adrian Dantley, but like compared to some of these other dudes, I didn't know if he was going to go crazy. 27 points per game for Adrian Dantley. And that's the 80s. Who else? Kareem is at 26.5. That's good. 26.5 for Mikan as well. Who is the worst out of Kobe? Only averaged 20 only. Kobe averaged 25. Will Chamberlain's 25. LeBron at 24. That's one of the lowest. I mean, Karl Malone's coming off the bench for part of the season. How can you expect him to have a high PPG? My goal, 23.9. Oh, my goal. Come on, man. He shot 40% from three, though. Yeah. See? He can translate to any era. Kevin Durant at 23.8. He's 50, 40, 90 with it. Oscar Robertson, 23. Dominique Wilkins, 23. Bro, a lot of our guy, Joel Embiid, only 20. Only 20 points per game for JoJo. Wow. Now, that is a huge like loss for the 2020s. Because you get 5 years. So one of his 5 years, he was just a 20-point per game scorer. That's not good. Now, I'm not tallying up all the points until it's all said and done after year number 5. So he's got time to change some things about it. And then we get Shai Gilgeous-Alexander win that championship. Cool. Now, none of the offseason matters, right? None of these guys are going to switch teams because they're on their rookie deals and their overall is too high for them to get traded. So we kind of just go into year number 2 and see if anything changes. Like, you might get some player progression, I guess, just based off the fact that they're all in their mid-20s instead of, like, Karl Malone being in his 30s. So you might see somebody just be a little bit better, I guess, but we'll see. Like, Will Chamberlain, LeBron, Kobe. I mean, we got all these 99s, right? We had, 16 players? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them. Is that 7? 7 of them are, 6 of them are 99 overall. So that's pretty good. Bob McAdoo put on at 28 point. Man, that's dope, bro. I'm just going to quickly go through this for myself and see, like, is there any big changes? Like, what did Will average last season? 25. So he averaged 25 with Zion and Jalen Brunson on the team. They all averaged 20 plus. That's pretty dope. Luka was only 21, but he was 8 and 8 on top of that. See, some of these dudes like a Bron or Luka that like filled the stat sheet, even though they are, of course, in this challenge for a reason, they do so much other stuff that's not strictly buckets. Like, that's why I was so sad that, like, Allen Iverson didn't fit this challenge, bro, because he is not just buckets, but he's 95% buckets. Unfortunately, he ain't make it. So Jokic is just dominating the league that has LeBron, Kobe, MJ. It's just the way it is. Let's see. Anybody else? Adrian Dantley is 27.5 clutch player of the year. Bro, Adrian Dantley is really surprising me here, man. He really is surprising me. All right, you're number 2, league leaders points. Bob McAdoo again. Bob McAdoo, Adrian. It might be raps, bro. It might be raps. Adrian Dantley. I'm sorry. Let me look at my list here. Adrian Dantley is putting on for the 80s with Dominique. I don't see Dominique here. But the 70s with Kareem and Mac, are we about to say the 70s have the best hoopers? The best buckets? I don't know. Now you can maybe say something about it being not the guards or the wings, but the centers that's towards the top and scoring. Maybe that's a little something we can have a conversation about. But here are all the stats for year number 2. MJ, man, you averaged 30 for an entire decade in real life, and you can't even average 25 in the game of 2K? Your team too good? Where the Pelicans at? What? They out of 1 seed. They out of 1 seed now, but maybe that's MJ. I don't know. Who else we got? George Mikan is at 23.5. Luka Doncic's at 23.5. Harden's at 23 even. Karl Malone and MJ might be the most disappointing pairing so far. Through the night. Oh no, Joel Embiid and Luka are pretty low too. Yeah, Joel Embiid and Luka are pretty low. Like there's Dominique at 21. Where's Joel Embiid at 19.7? Like, oh man. And these are just stock NBA 2K stuff. It's stock NBA 2K stuff. All right, let's see who wins the championship, man. For year number 2, it looks like we're gonna get Wemby versus Anthony Davis. None of our 16. Remember, 16. That's more than half of the league. None of our 16 teams with one of these legends made it to the finals in either year. That's kind of surprising because in some teams you have a 99 overall player on a rookie contract. If you don't go out there and build around that rookie contract, that's like when I'm not a huge NFL fan, but I remember when Patrick Mahomes was still on his rookie deal, and they was like, oh, we got all the money in the world to spend because the best player on the team only making so-and-so amount of dollars, so we can go buy this player, that player. They're not taking advantage of that. They don't think about that in the video game, I guess. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is the first legend to win an MVP award. 28. All right. Again, we only look at points around here. We don't care about team stats. We don't care about none of that stuff. Get your teammates involved. Are you kidding me? Go out there and score that. Go score that pill. So Anthony Edwards continues to lead the league in scoring, so shout out to him. George Mikan with 28 and 13. Okay. Then MVP of the league, Bob Mack. Hey, man, I think we might be in for a photo finish. Kevin Durant is back, man. Kevin Durant was kind of slacking. Oh, I guess he was 25 last year. Okay. But it felt like he was kind of slacking, bro. It felt like he was kind of slacking, but instead he's picking it up. Adrian Dantley dropped by 2 points per game. I wonder if that's going to cost him. Wilt is still Chamberlain. He having up seasons, down seasons. It's cool. Joel Embiid is at 21, man. Yeah, we can count the 2020s out completely, bro. So to average 21 points per game, how many points total do you get? Let's see. You get about 1,700. So through 3 years, he's got 5,000 points, which again, incredible. But I'm going to compare it to somebody towards the beginning or the top. Let's compare it to George Mikan, who's been very consistent throughout this so far. His 5,000 is nothing compared to 6,500. So, I guess there's levels to it. Let's see who wins this championship. Will we finally get one of our legendary players? We get Bob McAdoo versus Will Chamberlain, the battle of the bigs. And Bob McAdoo, I feel like you should get some extra points for postseason scoring, but I don't know how to track. I don't know how to track that. I ain't gonna lie. I don't know how to track that too much. But we only got a few more seasons, y'all, and then we're going to do our mathematics to figure out which is the best score across the eras. Wilt the Stilt Chamberlain, 28 points per game. You also got DPOY. I see you, Wilt. Kobe with 30. Oh, 30 ball from Kobe Bean. Is he the first player to average a 30? Is he the first player to average? I might be tripping. I'm not completely sure. But there's a world where he is the first one to average 30 of all of these guys. Wow. Bob McAdoo is not too far behind. I think we're going to have a real photo finish, man. James Harden's back. He finally is doing it. Now, it's a little bit too late to do it in year 4. But for year number 5, we are shifting gears just a little bit. This is the last year, so we got to go out with a bang. Let's see who wins the championship, and then I'll talk to y'all about what this last year is. We end up getting Bob McAdoo versus Will Chamberlain again, and it is Bob McAdoo, man. All right, so this is where things get real interesting for year number 5 because it is the last year. We're going to increase the pace like crazy. Everybody's going to have an opportunity to score so many points, and we're going to do that by just shifting just a few of the rules in the NBA rulebook. All right, the last year, there's a world with these 2 shifts and the rules that some people might start to take off a little bit. There's a chance. And the fact that we're not keeping track of it year to year means that we're kind of in the dark right here, and we could see almost anybody win at this point in the video. I'm excited for it. Let's see what we do. First games of the year. Oh my God, 183 points was put up. And that's Paolo Banchero. Oh, Bob McAdoo, that was a game, buddy. That was a game for you to spaz. You ain't starting off so hot. Adrian Dantley started off so great, and then you got a 23 last year. That's not good, but maybe you make it back up with 26. I don't know. But also, everybody, all 16 of these players should have their numbers jump for this season. There's no excuse for it not to. Unless, I was going to say unless you're bad, but these are literally 16 of the greatest players of all time. So I'm just talking. Will Chamberlain with 30. Oh, my hat is gone. Will Chamberlain with 30. That's good. Right? None of these guys win. I mean, they won 65 games. He doing a lot more than just scoring over there. Kay Cunningham and Kareem. Oh, they've been on the same team forever. Kay Cunningham has been taking Kareem points. Oh, no, he hasn't. Oh, no, I can't wait to look at this. This might be the season, y'all. This might be the season where people went nuts. Kay Cunningham led the league in scoring. So they had 2 of the top 3 scorers in basketball in OKC. Then we have Wilt at 30, Bob McAdoo at 30, James Harden at 30, LeBron at 30, and then that's it. Okay. This is where things get really, really interesting, ladies and gentlemen. So we're about to calculate total amount of points, and we're going to start off with our 50s, right? Our players from the 50s. So that's, I wrote this down. I don't know how I keep forgetting, but I wrote it down. Give me a second. It's Pettit and it's Mikan. It's Pettit and it's Mikan. All right, let's see. So Bob Pettit this year ended up averaging 29. He averaged for the career of these 5 years 26.4, and that puts him with the total points of 10,844. That seems pretty respectable, but I got nothing to compare it to. Then we got George Mikan, who ended up averaging 25.8 for these 5 years, and that gives him a total of 10,566. Both of those players, pretty consistent. The 50s, I think, honestly, all things considered, I feel like y'all really held it down. I don't think y'all won, but like considering all the memes that come around for the 50s and the 60s, I think y'all held it down. Then we get to the 60s, that is Wilt Chamberlain and Oscar Robertson. So Chamberlain took off these last couple seasons. So we got to show some love to Chamberlain. Let me put it in my notes. Chamberlain, total points is 10,633. That's less than Bob Pettit, but it's more than George Mikan. So his teammate Oscar Robertson has to keep them in this race. Big O averaged 22. Listen, I ain't no mathematician, but 9,329 is not the same or even close to what the other guys did. So the 60s, Oscar Robertson and Big O, they have been eliminated. Boom. The 50s move on. And they're going against the 60s, which is Kareem and Bob. Bob McAdoo, again, was so great in this. So let's see. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar averaged 29.2 this entire way. And that's going to give him the most amount of points we've seen so far, 11,964. Then we get Bob McAdoo, who also averaged 29. Hey, it's raps. I think this is 11,905. I don't know who's beating that. I'm sorry, the 50s are gone. This is the 70s. Then we get MJ and Dominique. I'm sorry. No. This is Dominique and Adrian Dantley, right? Because MJ is for the 90s. So Wilkins and Dantley. I think we already see our winner. I don't remember Dominique Wilkins going super crazy, but maybe he did. Yeah, 23.3. That's not going to cut it. 9,504. Yeah, that's cool. And then Adrian Dantley started off hot, but cooled down a little bit. Overall, he gets 10,908. So that puts him overall in third place. But again, they don't compare to the 70s. The 90s, man, I feel like the 90s let us down more than anything because Michael Jordan was not MJ, bro. Look at these stats. 24 MJ? Are you kidding me? For MJ, man. MJ is 9,868. I'm so disappointed in our boy MJ. He's just real life the greatest scorer. So the fact that he ended it in the game sucks. And then his teammate Karl Malone spent the beginning of the season being bad. Now this year he was incredible. 29 is nothing to talk about, but total is 10,138. Can Kobe and Bron make some noise? I feel like LeBron just kind of been existent. 26.8 for Bron. And that's, oh my God. Okay, Bron. Yeah, Bron. You make it interesting. 10,899. 1 point away from a good old round number. And then Kobe started off. Oh no, Kobe was killing the whole time. Yo, Kobe is 11,266, which together is 22,165. And that is a 1,000 and some change, almost 2,000 less than Bob McAdoo and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. These dudes are just killing the game. 23,869 is their total. I just don't know who's beating that. And then the 2010s had KD and James Harden. I feel like James Harden ain't do nothing until this last year. James Harden was just kind of existing. Maybe he was facilitating or something. Yeah, this year he's 10, but he's always been 8 assists. Overall, he got 10. Okay, 10,000 is pretty respectable. Never mind, James. Maybe I wasn't paying attention. 10,762. And then Kevin Durant in the same time frame, Kevin Durant gave us 25.8 per, and that's going to be almost 2,000? No, 10,595. And then lastly, we got Embiid and Luka. Embiid probably has the least amount out of everybody here. And so far, it's been Dominique Wilkins. No. It was Big O. Big O was 9,000. So we'll see what Joel Embiid ended up being. He totaled at 21 per, and that's going to give him a total of 8,000 points. Yikes, JoJo. That's so unfortunate because in real life, he gave us years he's dropping 30 per. So 2K didn't do him a good service this time around. And then Luka Doncic is also only 22, so he gets a total of 9,000. Wow, they didn't have a single person in their team crack. Yeah, that's last place, y'all. 2020s, man, it didn't do us no justice. We living in this era, but they were dead last. So here it is from start to finish. The greatest scoring era is the 70s with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Bob McAdoo having 23,869. In second place, we will see Bron and Kobe of the 2000s. All right, baby, 22,165. Then in third place, it is very close, but it is the 50s. Bob Pettit and George Mikan with 21,410. And then right behind them is KD. I got in my notes James, and this threw me off. I thought that was Bron James. KD and James Harden at 21,357. Second to last place is the 60s with Big O and Will Chamberlain at 19,962. And then in the very last place is the 2020s with Joel Embiid and Luka at 17,781. Science. Not really. Flawed science. But fun video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, leave it a like and subscribe. And maybe you were right. Did you see it? That Bob McAdoo was going to come in clutch. I don't think you did. Them dudes also played in the finals against each other twice in 5 years. So they real life were the most dominant era, right? Finals appearances and total points, they got it.